Hello everyone, and welcome to another video on the finals. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I think it's been about over a month. It might even be like close to a month and a half at this point. I think the last one that I did was the 60 bomb crazy video that popped off a bit, and that was really cool to see. And I wanted to do some follow-up videos after that, but I stopped playing the game as much. The season previous to this one, I did a ton of grinding. At the end of that season, and then that carried over a little bit into the beginning of this one. So yeah, so around the time that I hit that 60 bomb, I was kind of just like ready for I don't know, ready for something new with the game, like a shake-up, a patch to like really shift things a little bit. And I felt like what we got at the beginning of the season didn't do that, quite as much as I was hoping for. So, and I wanted to play some other stuff. I did some single-player game stuff and some Forza stuff and a bunch of stuff on just a bunch of different games. Switched it up a ton, and yeah, just took a break from the finals. And it was honestly kind of nice. Like, it felt really good getting back on the game today, even though I only played 2 tourneys, although I definitely plan on playing more. I had a really fun time. It felt really good getting on the game, and it felt fresh. Felt fresh for the first time in a while. So yeah, so the break definitely like served its purpose. And I definitely will be playing more. I'm not gonna play too much. I don't want to like burn myself out of it again. But I'll definitely be playing more, and hopefully sending on some more videos here and there as well. Especially because with this new patch, we got some things that I could definitely do some videos on. The first of those being the pike here. I love the pike. Well, loved the pike when it first dropped, and then the first nerf hit, and that definitely hit it, but not too bad, and it was still like really good after that first nerf. But after the second nerf, that's when they really like gutted it, and it was just terrible. And yeah, it went right down to unusable territory. Like the only like excuse you'd have to use the pike would be like power shift. Power shift was like the one excuse where you could play power shift. You could use the pike in that, and it would be decent. It still wouldn't be very good, to be honest. It'd still probably be better suited with just like a FAMAS, but it would at least be decent. So that's kind of where the pike was. Well, they buffed it back up in this update. That's one of the things that they did. I'm going to go over a few of the changes in this update in this video. But again, obviously with the gameplay in the background, this one's focused on the pike. They increased the damage from 47 to 50. So of course, if you know the numbers on, all the contestants and stuff like that, you can do the math pretty easy. That improves the shots to kill on the pike, and that is huge. That is huge because yeah, moving it from like 3 to 4 on lights, and moving it up a bullet on mediums, moving it up a bullet on heavy, like that obviously made a really big difference, and it just did way too much, and it just made the weapon just not nearly effective enough. So now being back to that like 3-shot kill on lights, and then what would it be, like 5 on medium, 7 on heavy, going back to those original numbers. Well, not original. I think originally it was actually a shit ton. I think it was like 60 or something crazy. But going back to like, pre-gutted patch numbers, we'll put it that way. It feels a lot better. It feels a lot better. I'm not sure how I feel about it, like competitively yet, because I played with the FAMAS as well, and a lot of people were really freaking out about the FAMAS nerf, but I felt like the FAMAS still, I thought it still felt pretty good. Don't get me wrong, it definitely felt worse. Like I do think it was noticeable. I do think it was a noticeable change, but I don't think it felt like unplayable. Like a lot of people, I was looking at the Reddit post for this patch notes, because it was the most comments I've seen in a long time for this game, like a long freaking time. And when I first saw the huge number of comments, I was like, oh boy, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Like, it's hard to tell just looking at the number and not looking at the actual like contents of them. So I looked, and it seemed pretty negative. It seemed pretty negative in general, which I was kind of surprised by, because I mean, we'll go through the patch notes as a whole, but I actually, for the most part, don't get me wrong, there's some head scratchers, but for the most part, I actually think it's a pretty solid patch. And some of the ones that people are complaining about, I'm a bit surprised by. But yeah, one of them was that FAMAS nerf, and don't get me wrong, I don't necessarily think it needed one either. Like, I would have rather... I thought the FAMAS was good where it was. I would have rather them buffed up the Pike, which they did, and buffed up the FCAR and the AK as well. Instead, they chose to... They still buffed the Pike, but they chose to slightly, you know, nerf the FAMAS. But again, in my head, I still have to play with it more, but I do think it was a slight nerf. Like, it's still... The game that I used with the FAMAS, it still felt very, 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 very good. But again, we'll see, you know, we'll see how that opinion evolves. But anyways, this patch, now we're kind of all over the place in this video. We'll do more, so I don't have to go too crazy. A lot of cool stuff in this one. They brought the spinning wheel back, that event for Valentine's Day. It's fun like that. That's cool, with some improvements to it. But balance change wise, the lock bolt rework stuff, I haven't tried that yet, so we're gonna skip that for now. The breach charge had a very like slight change. I'm not too worried about that. We're gonna skip over those. And again, maybe I'll talk about the lock bolt when I actually get to try it. The best part about this update that I'm really excited about, especially for ranked, is they finally made some plug meta adjustments. So now when you deposit a cash box, it's going to give you 20% of the money that the, you know, like the total money that the cash box would be. It'll give you like 20% of what that is now instead of the previous 30. And of course, when you win the cash out, it'll give you 80% instead of the previous 70. So now it's a lot more rewarding to actually like hold the cash out, and a little less rewarding for the plugs. And then on top of that, they also increased the team wipe penalty in ranked by 5%. It was 10%, now it's 15%. I still think 15% might be a little low. It could also be the sweet spot. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to play a little bit. We'll have to mess around with it. But it's better than 10. It's better than 10. 10 was definitely too low. 15 might still be too low. It's definitely better, though. But either way, all of these changes, fantastic. Fantastic. I've been wanting these changes for a long time, and already this update is a massive W, in my opinion, just from those changes alone. I think that's really, really, these changes are really, really big for the health of the game. Loved seeing them in the patch notes, and I'm very, very pleased. So pleased that it actually made me get on the game for the first time in forever. So yeah, it was really nice to see. They nerfed the shit out of Charge and Slam. I saw a lot of negative responses to this too, which I'm a little surprised by, because I thought Charge and Slam was one of the like agreed upon annoying things that like is just freaking annoying, and a lot of people complain about it, and it's just too strong. And then I saw a lot of people complaining about it, and I was like, really? Complaining about a charge nerf? Like, I thought a charge nerf was pretty justified, and if anything, like overdue. So I was a little surprised by that. Maybe they went too far with it. I'm not exactly sure. I have to mess around with it, but you know, I don't know. Charge is one of the most, I'll just say it straight up, it's one of the most brain dead things in the game, abilities in the game. I was totally fine with it getting a nerf. Maybe they went too far, but I was totally fine with it, and I think it's long overdue. One of the head scratchers, the claw, they reduced the range of the claw from 12 meters to 10 meters, which if you think about it, is actually kind of a big reduction, especially since they've already reduced it in the past. This one was a bit of a head scratcher for me. I thought the other reduction that they already did was fine. Another one on top of that seems a little excessive. I don't know. I still think the utility of the claw is pretty good, so I don't think it kills the claw. But it's just a little unnecessary. Just a little unnecessary to me. I didn't really get this one. The Cerberus shotgun for medium got a shitload of buffs. I'm going to have to try this one out. I'm not sure exactly how much better it is. But looking at the patch notes, they improved the pellet distribution, they increased the damage per pellet, and they improved the reload time across the board. So that's a lot of buffs. That's a lot of buffs. The Cerberus should be a lot stronger. I'm really excited to try that. I haven't got around to it yet. That was one of the things that I didn't try in the couple tourneys that I played, but I'm excited for that. I already mentioned the FAMAS nerf. They reduced the rate of fire a bit, and they reduced the damage per bullet by 1. And somebody went into the numbers, and the damage per bullet reduction only makes a difference against heavies, and it's a slight difference too. Like if one of your teammates or if like a grenade like slightly hits them, it brings it back to the normal value. So it's really just a slight fire rate nerf in all practicality. And again, I used the FAMAS for a game. I'll probably do a different video on that. I still thought it felt pretty good. But the model got a big nerf. I haven't tried it yet because I don't want to. The numbers look really, really bad on it. I think this might have just destroyed the model. I think the model might have just gotten the patch that the Pike got previously, where it just kills it. I'm a little sad about that. I think that the reworks that they did to the model, I thought did a pretty good job. A little sad and a little surprised by this model nerf. But there you have it. End of that gameplay. Very, very solid gameplay right there. 16 kills, 10k damage. I pretty much went through most of the main things that I wanted to talk about in the patch notes. There's technically a few more things that are important. We'll get around to those in the next video. But that's it for this one. But yeah, Pyke is back. It's definitely usable again. I really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun with it, and I'm excited about this update. There are a few head scratchers, but there's also some really good changes in there that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And yeah, it's got me excited about the game, wanting to play it again. And I hope it's the same for some of you guys as well. Let me know what you think about the update, and see you in the next one.